The World Cup has taken the world by storm. This 2022 World Cup has proven to be a bit different than the previous years, with Japan beating Germany and Argentina losing to Saudi Arabia in just a span of a week. But we all have forgotten a certain footballing giant couldn't make it to Qatar: Italy. Why couldn't Italy make it to the World Cup despite being the European champions? Italy has won the FIFA World Cup 4 times. They won this competition for the first time in 1934, when it was only in its second edition and played there. In an effort to repeat its victory and defend its World Championship crown, the government declared the 1938 competition. Since then, it took Italy 44 years to win its third World Cup trophy. In the 1982 World Cup final game, they defeated West Germany 3-1, thanks to goals from Marco Tardelli, Paolo Rossi, and Alessandro Altobelli. Italy claimed the last World Cup in 2006. Zinedine Zidane was kicked out of a thrilling championship game against France for making fun of Marco Materazzi. The Azzurri won the title by penalties. Italy, however, failed to earn a spot in the 2018 and the forthcoming 22 World Cups. A major talking point from the World Cup in Russia was the absence of Italy. This time too, Italy has faced a similar fate, as they again failed to qualify for planet Earth's most prestigious sporting event. It is particularly astonishing for a nation that boasts the like of Marco Verratti, Giorgio Chiellini, Gianluigi Donnarumma, Leonardo Nucci, and Jorginho among its best players. And Italy's inability to qualify for the World Cup 2 straight seasons really showed that only having good players is not enough for a team to play well. It needs the coordination and cohesion to be competent at the top level. Back in 2018, for the first time since 1958, 4-time World Cup winner Italy failed to qualify for the World Cup after losing in a playoff match against Sweden. Sweden and Italy played to a scoreless tie in the second leg of the match at San Siro, Milan, with Italy losing 1-0 on aggregate. The loss signaled the end of legendary goalkeeper Gianluigi Buffon's international career. Buffon, who won the World Cup with Italy in 2006, made his debut almost 20 years ago. Italy joined Chile and the United States as prominent nations who failed to book their tickets to Russia. Talking about Italy's road to glory in the Euro 2020, Italy was phenomenal. They secured their second Euro title with a dramatic final win over England at Wembley. The Azzurri got their hands on the trophy for the first time ever since 1968. After taking over as manager of Italy when they were at their lowest point, Roberto Mancini reveled in defying expectations when the Azzurri came out victorious in the final against the British Giants. Mancini has overseen an astonishing transformation of the Italian squad in the past years. Italy was in a complete mess after losing to Sweden in the 2018 World Qualifying Playoff, and Mancini had to pick up the pieces from that. The Azzurri had to battle all the way against Spain. They took the lead thanks to a magnificent goal from Federico Chiesa, but got pegged back as Alvaro Morata's equalizer made it 1-1, which necessitated extra time before the Azzurri won 4-2 on penalties. After scoring 7 goals without a reply against Turkey, Switzerland, and Wales in the same group stage, they battled out an extra time over Austria, then beat Belgium in the quarterfinals despite losing their starter left-back Leonardo Spinazzola to a torn Achilles tendon. Since the failed World Cup qualifiers, he has rebuilt them from the veteran center-back duo of Leonardo Bonucci and Giorgio Chiellini to brilliant attacking fullbacks, a gifted midfield trio of Jorginho, Marco Verratti, and Nicolo Barella, and the firing frontline. After their triumph in the 2020 Euros, many believe that Italy's absence from the World Cup was an aberration. Many even consider the European champions one of their favorites in the upcoming World Cup. Many people argued that winning the Euros should earn the team a spot at the next World Cup, but as it stands, that's not the rule. This has baffled former Italian footballer Roberto Baggio, who expressed his views quite recently. Italy won the European Championship. I think it's shameful. It's madness that they are not given an automatic berth into the World Cup for that, said Baggio in a recent interview. Maybe the rules might change in the future, but as of now. However, all the talk remained words only, as Italy lost its way during the qualification rounds. Ultimately, Italy failed to qualify for the World Cup final rounds for the second consecutive time, sending shockwaves among Italy's fans worldwide. The 2022 FIFA World Cup will feature only 32 teams, with Qatar, the host nation, receiving a guaranteed spot. It implies that each of the remaining 31 teams had to compete with rivals from different continents to secure a flight to Qatar. This was when Italy's entire situation went terribly wrong. With Switzerland, Northern Ireland, Bulgaria, and Lithuania, Italy was assigned to Group C of the UEFA World Cup qualifiers. The group's winner, Switzerland, advanced straight to the World Cup, while the first runner-up received a second chance to advance by competing in the playoffs. The group that was supposed to be easy for the European champions ended up being extremely challenging. They had a successful start, winning their first 3 games. However, Italy could only win 1 of the next 5 games after that. They came in behind Switzerland by 2 points for second place in the group as a result. Jorginho, a midfielder for Chelsea, missed vital penalty kicks that would have sealed the points. Italy still had a chance to qualify for Qatar to the playoffs, so it wasn't game over for them, at least not yet. However, Italy also blew up this chance as well. While many were making predictions about the outcome of the qualification round between Italy and Portugal, as they were still playing in the same group as Italy, North Macedonia had other plans. Before Portugal, they faced Italy in qualifications, and the 4-time world winners were no match for them. North Macedonia cherished their victory over the 4-time world champions. On the other hand, this loss meant that Italy will miss out on a World Cup spot for the 2nd time in a row, despite being European champions. Portugal eventually defeated North Macedonia to earn a spot in the Qatar World Cup. The triumph over the 4-time world champions, though, would be cherished by North Macedonia. However, despite being the European champions, Italy will now miss the World Cup for the 2nd time in a row due to the setback. Under Roberto Mancini's tutelage, the Azzurri went 37 games without a loss, and the team's path to the World Cup appeared to be clear-cut. In reality, all it took to determine the European champion was 1 game versus North Macedonia that had to be won. Alexander Trajkovski's goal in the 92nd minute ended Italian hearts and hopes of playing at the World Cup. Amedeo Carboni, Italy's former left-back, points out that a World Cup without Italy will not be entertaining for him and his compatriots. Pecco Bagnaia, a MotoGP champion, thinks Italy has a fantastic team despite not qualifying for the World Cup. It's obvious that for an Italian, it hurts a lot not to be in Qatar, he said. After the game, Jorginho revealed his disappointment at missing out. It hurts. It hurts so much. I don't know why we haven't been able to do this. I'm also involved in this and it hurts me to think about it, he said in the post-match interview. In reality, we all will miss Italy's presence at the World Cup as they are one of the most successful nations and would have definitely contributed to a wonderful spectacle. Unfortunately, they will have to watch the rest of the world compete for the football's most prestigious trophy from their homes. With that, we have come to a close of today's video. What are your thoughts on the upcoming World Cup? Who are your favorites to win the cup this year? Despite being the European champions, what are your thoughts on Italy's absence in the World Cup?